is week 7 of my 75 soft challenge, which means I am getting into 7 weeks of reading 10 pages minimum of a book, eating well, doing physical activity, and drinking 8 glasses of water every day. I am doing this challenge for a total of 75 days. I am very glad to be in week 7. I feel like every week that goes by is another week that this is almost over. And it's not that I don't enjoy this challenge. I wanted to take this on so that I can build consistency with my habits, but there are just some days where I don't want to do anything. In my free time or on the weekend, there are just some days where I want to bed rot, as people say, just lay in the bed all day. But it's like, nope, gotta drink my water. Nope, gotta get up, do some physical activity. You know, I can't let those feelings take over. Like, I gotta stay consistent, which I have been doing. And then there are those days where I just feel really busy or just really drained from all of the stuff that I had to do earlier in the day. So most days I'm talking about work, to where I'm just not in the mood to do my workout. I'm not really in the mood to read a book. Even though I love to read, sometimes it's just like, I just wanna watch TV instead. There are days like that. But overall, I will say the more I have been doing these habits, the more that I want to keep doing the habits. There are just some days here and there where I am not in the mood. And I feel like that's a part of the challenge that I just have to be honest about. Anyway, let's see how this week goes. I am all about a quick meal, especially on a weeknight like this, so I'm just going to make a very quick rice, cheese, broccoli dish for dinner. It's super simple. I can link the recipe below. The original recipe that I referenced has chicken. I didn't want to fool around with thawing out meat or worrying about meat. I'm just gonna make this a meatless meal for tonight. All I'm using is butter, onion. I actually don't have onion right now, so I'm just gonna use some shallot, rice, cheddar cheese, frozen broccoli, and some seasoning. That's it. Oh, and also some chicken broth to cook the rice in. It's really cheap and it's an easy go-to dinner for when you don't want to be worried about what to eat and you don't want to wait forever to eat. So let's get into it. So like I mentioned, I don't have onion, so I'm dicing up some shallot here. I'm also shredding some cheese. Now all I had here was 4 ounces of cheese to shred, but I would almost double this if you can. Then I sauteed the shallot with some butter in an oven-safe dish because this will go into the broiler later. I added in my washed rice and just stirred that so everything could get coated. And then I seasoned with salt, pepper, oregano, and thyme. I used mostly chicken broth to cook the rice, but I also added in some water into the pot because I needed more liquid than just the can of chicken broth. I don't remember how much water I put in there. I wasn't measuring, but once the amount of liquid looked like enough, I cooked the rice as usual. One thing I forgot to mention is that this recipe takes cream. I'm sitting here stirring the rice and I'm like, there's something in here that makes it creamy in the end, and I forgot. Before I put it in the broiler with the cheese on top to broil, I add in some heavy cream to make it more of a creamy dish. Just like, honestly, I forget how much. 1/4 of a cup, like not that much. So keep that in mind too. I'm gonna link the recipe that I'm referencing below so you'll know how to make it exactly. I'm not even looking at the recipe. I've made this before to where I know pretty much what to do. And I'm glad I remembered the cream. Then I'm stirring in some frozen vegetables to warm through here for about 5 minutes. I did not use the whole bag. I just eyeballed a certain amount to put in, whatever looked like enough. And then I stirred in the heavy cream. And this was not enough heavy cream for this, by the way. I did end up adding some more. Then I topped it all with the cheese. I mentioned shredding even more cheese if you're able to, because I would have loved to stir in cheese into the dish and then build a cheesy crust top on top of this, but I didn't have enough cheese for all of that, so I just went for the crust part. So I just only put the cheese on top, and then into the broiler it goes. Look at this, you guys. It is sizzling. It's been in the broiler. The cheese is melted. I'm ready to eat. Valentine's Day, and we are gearing up for a nice at-home steak night. A lot of times when it's Valentine's Day, and especially when Valentine's Day falls on a weekday and we have to work, we like to do a nice at-home meal. And that's what we're doing tonight, a nice at-home steak night. So I probably won't share too much of an update today just because it's Valentine's Day. I want to enjoy my Valentine's evening with my Valentine, but I just want to highlight real quick what we are working with tonight. So remember those 2 New York strip steaks that we got from Fresh Market in last week's video? Here they are right here cooking in the sous vide. And if you're not familiar with sous vide, it's like a water bath. So this is my sous vide machine and it's plugged in, and this is a hot water bath that is cooking the steaks at a certain temperature for a certain length of time to where it cooks fully, or at least for it being steak, it cooks to the kind of cook that we want it to have. So I think in this case, like medium rare. When this is done, it'll be fully cooked, but it won't have like a nice crust or a nice cook to the exterior of the steak. So we will then sear it on a cast iron skillet or sear it in a pan to really get a nice crust to the steak. We've also got green beans to cook for tonight's dinner. I'm gonna do my usual green bean method on the stove. If you're familiar with this journey, you already know. And we went ahead and got a bag that said washed, trimmed, ready to eat, but you know how these things go. It's not really ready to eat. Still have to give this a rinse through anyway. I still like to trim these because I don't like how they're trimmed, so still have to do prep before cooking the green beans. And also preparing some mashed potatoes for tonight, because what's a steak night without some creamy mashed potatoes to go with it? One thing that is really getting to me about this book, I'm like 70% done with this book, is the science behind how things are happening. I have so many questions about the how things are happening that it is keeping me from being fully immersed into the world building of the book. I have had so many conversations with Seth. He read this book years ago about how I am feeling about this book as I continue to read it, and most of the conversations we have are me asking so many questions about how could this be happening and create this effect. I don't want to get into specifics too much about the things that I'm questioning because I don't want to spoil the reading experience. You may want to read this book, you may not. I probably should just be accepting the world that's being built and the fact that things are playing out the way the author says they do. But things aren't mathing for me. It's not computing. It's not working. Well, I wouldn't say it's not working. I'm still making my way through this book. I can still see how things are playing out. I just have so many questions. But I have heard a lot of people say that once you continue toward the end of the book, like keep making your way toward the end, things really pick up. There might be twists and turns, I don't know, but something about the reading experience toward the end is supposed to just be really good. This is the third book that I'm reading while on my 75 soft challenge, and this is the book that is taking the longest for me to get through. Not that it's taking me a long time to get through this book in the grand scheme of how long it would typically take for me to finish a book, but just out of the books that I've read while on this challenge, this one's taking me a little longer, which I'm surprised about because I really liked Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I really feel like I flew through that book, but all books aren't the same. As you might know, we're back into the routine of getting takeout at least once a week, typically on the weekend after being exhausted from the work week. Tonight, we're ordering from a Euro restaurant. It's been a long time since we've had food from here, and we were really craving it. So I hope falafel and baba ganoush count as eating well. So here's what we got. Let's see. Seth got a chicken pizza. I have never had pizzas from this place, but apparently they're really good. And this is za'atar bread. Hope I'm saying that right. And I think that's tzatziki sauce to go with this. This is an appetizer. This right here, I can't do this with one hand. This right here is the baba ganoush. I'm really excited for this. And my pita. Ooh, and it's warm. I can feel it, it's warm. Which means that this should be my falafel. Boom. I'm excited. Oh. Let's see how they package this here. Oh wow, the sauce is just in these little parts, no containers or anything. So here's my falafel, and I'm super excited to eat. You know I can't have a weekly update without a trip to the grocery store. This week, we were shopping with a few dinner ideas in mind, like bang bang shrimp and chili. So stay tuned for future videos because you may see me make meals like those. We also spent time grabbing easy to make frozen meals because the days have just been busier and busier. And yes, I did grab some ice cream to treat myself. That's it for the day, and that is it for this week's video. I feel so accomplished now that the grocery shopping is done for the day, and you can see the kind of meals that I eat in next week's video. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.